You're watching News 24 Live, and I'm Jerusha Sukhthio-Rath. Now I'm joined in studio by my colleague Nick Paulson, and we're going to have a look at what trended on Google this week. Nick, is trended even a word?
Well, I know I'm trendy.
All right, so let's get into it. We're missing
Yes.
our colleague Jen this week. She's
Yep.
generally got the entertaining stuff, which is cool, but I've got new stuff, and it's awful this week. It's absolutely awful.
Yeah, well, generally the news has been quite depressing, South African context at least of late. South Africans are, feeling quite conflicted, it seems.
So the first thing that we're going to talk about is King Goodwill Zwelithini. We know that the xenophobic attacks have been going around the country. Zwelithini initially made a statement about foreigners having to leave the country, and many people said that's what sparked the attacks that have killed people now. What do you think? I don't really know if one person can be responsible for other people's actions.
Well, he has subsequently then had that Ibizo and sort of tried to...
filled Moses Mabhida Stadium
Yeah.
with people, and he spoke to his, I suppose what you call regiments, about how it's important to protect everybody in the country. Some people said that was a bit of backpedaling. At this stage, I just don't know, and I don't know how the country is going to get itself out of this.
Jerusha, I'd imagine that King Goodwill has a very loyal following in KZN. If what he said did sort of incite this sort of anti-foreigner violence, I mean, I'm sure, it could be blamed for this recent spate of xenophobic attacks. He said that his comments were taken out of context, and has since, like you said, backpedaled, this Ibizo, all these anti-xenophobia marches in Natal and
Joburg now.
Nationwide.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky one. It does put a big black mark next to South Africa. Not a very proud couple of weeks.
No, not at all. In fact, our president just wrote an open letter to a Mozambican poet, so we'll put some of that under this video for our viewers to have a look at.
Okay,
the second story is just equally awful, and that's the Port Elizabeth teacher who was murdered, Jade Panayitu. She was abducted from outside her home, and she was murdered. Her body was found. Interestingly, members of her community are now calling on government for reinstatement of the death penalty. And I suppose while we know that that's probably not a reasonable request to government, man, I understand those people's pain. Sure.
Shocking story, very sad. I just would like to know though why, I mean, this kind of thing sadly happens just about every day in South Africa. Why is this getting so much media coverage? Why is there such an outrage? Obviously, I'm not condoning it in any way, and it's very sad for the families and friends. But that's just been the question on my mind.
Look, I mean, a lot of comments on News 24 have been along the lines of, it's because she's a beautiful white woman, and
that's where I was going.
But, Black Lives. It goes back to the Black Lives Matter movement, really, that we saw starting on social media. Do Black Lives matter to us? That when Black people are killed every day, go missing every day, it doesn't even make a page 3 or the back page of the paper.
It's also perhaps that, I mean, generally this kind of thing doesn't happen that often in the Eastern Cape, as opposed to, Joburg or Cape Town or the big metros. There's quite, I guess, big news for Port Elizabeth.
Yeah, and especially because she was so loved by her students. They paid tribute to her, saying that she was the type of teacher who really touched your heart, and that was just heartbreaking. Oh, Nick, let's talk a bit about sport. What was searched?
Well, I've got a lot of soccer for you. So starting on a sad note, because I think this is relevant because it's going on right at the moment, Moshoeu's memorial service. So he passed away this week after a long battle with cancer.
He was young.
He was, and he was, lest we forget, part of that golden generation of football players that won the 96 Africa Cup of Nations.
Was that the only time we've ever won the Cup of Nations?
Yes, yeah. So 96, golden generation, the likes of Dr. Kumalo, Sean Bartlett, Benny McCarthy, etc. So he was part of that crowd. He's a legend in South African football. He's played 73 games for Bafana Bafana, then continued his sort of club career in Turkey, and then he finished up at Amazulu in 2008. I actually interviewed him in 2010.
Really?
During the World Cup, at a sort of sports soccer development fundraiser. He was, he was very big into that. growing the game at grassroots level. Really humble, really friendly guy. So it's a real shame.
Yeah, I mean, from everybody at News 24 Live, we obviously send our thoughts and good wishes to his family.
Absolutely. So staying with the soccer theme, we had some of the big European teams were searched thoroughly on Google, namely Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and Barcelona. So they are 3 of the 4 teams that are through to the Champions League quarterfinals. I imagine they would have a huge fan base the world over. So South Africa is no exception. So those were top searched items. And then, of course, Kaizer Chiefs won the PSL this week with 3 rounds to go.
How does that happen? So they've still got matches to play, but they've won?
Well, so like I said, 3 rounds left, but the lead that they have is untouchable, essentially. So they've got a 50-point lead over second place Mamelodi Sundowns. So even if Sundowns win their remaining fixtures, they still won't be close to Kaizer Chiefs. So Kaizer Chiefs have, taken the title for the 2014-2015 season.
Are you a Chiefs fan?
No, I'm an Ajax Cape Town fan.
Oh, shame. Us Chiefs fans feel sorry for you.
Are you a Chiefs fan, or are you just saying that to
No, I know that it's easy to say it now, but my Facebook friends can vouch for this. I am a Chiefs fan.
Well, as a sports reporter, I'm actually impartial. I'm not allowed to support everybody. So, yeah.
And on that note, from the very impartial reporters here at News 24 Live, we want to know from you, what did you search on Google this week? Let us know in the comments section below. And from Nick and I, have an absolutely fabulous Freedom Day.